What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we're going to be showing you the evolution of the classic Lion's Tail cocktail. Created by W.J. Tarling and published in 1937's Café Royale cocktail book, we are going to be doing the original specs, reconstructed specs, and then a ground-up rebuild. All right, let's get into making these cocktails. So the first cocktail up is going to be the original Lion's Tail. Well, the original as I know it anyway. So let's get a little lime juice going. Half an ounce of lime juice. And then 1 teaspoon of 1:1 simple syrup, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, half an ounce of allspice dram or pimento dram. And since we're doing a bourbon cocktail and we're gonna be using Buffalo Trace, I've got to thank our viewers that provided this bottle for us. So thank you to Marjorie Foyle, Alexander Cashman, Bridget Peoples, and Aaron Rathbun. Now let's get our 2 ounces of bourbon. A little ice into our tin. Add our cocktail to our tin. And give it a nice hard shake. And then give it a nice double strain into our coupe. We're using a 6-ounce coupe here. And get that nice wash line. So normally I would taste this right now, but since we're gonna be tasting them all side by side, I'm just gonna set it right there. So there it is, the original Lion's Tail. All right, so for this next version of the cocktail, we're gonna be doing a slight reconstruction. We're taking the same ingredients in different proportions to sort of try and balance the flavor profile out. I don't know where I got this specs. In my notes, it's called Reconstruction #1, so I'm not really sure if it was a reconstructed specs that we were using at Kohl's or if I got it somewhere. I just wanted to say that because I'm usually pretty good about saying where I get recipes. So first thing we're gonna do is 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, 1/4 of an ounce of 2:1 simple syrup, so rich simple syrup. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of our allspice dram, 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Ice into our tin. Give it a nice shake. Give it a double strain.
Like deja vu.
Just like deja vu.
Oh, not the cocktail, but I had a deja vu.
Oh, you just did now? And then this one calls for a lime twist, which sometimes if these limes are really, really ripe are kind of a pain in the butt. So we're just gonna spritz the oil on top. This one I'm gonna cut it into can you guess, Marius?
I don't want to.
Marius is over the parallelograms. But lime peels are too small to really do anything else with it, so we gotta do something a little more artful. There you go. That's just the type of Instagram garnish you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that sort of like a Marius special right there? There it is, all right. Lion's Tail Reconstruction #1. Can't wait to taste it. Looks tasty. So for our last reconstruction, we're gonna be going way off the deep end. This is something that is fully reconstructed from the ground up. Elements have been added, flavor profiles have been added, and the point of this is that it is basically taking the same idea of what a Lion's Tail is and then just sort of upgrading it, right? So this is the Dead Rabbit's version of a Lion's Tail. So first thing we're gonna do is cut our lemon, and then we're gonna spank ourselves because I didn't take the sticker off, and that's a big no-no, especially if you're working in a bar. If you're working in a bar and you have fruit displayed like that, make sure to take the stickers off because it just does not look good to have stickers there. All right, we're gonna do 1 full ounce of lemon juice. Then we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of orange juice. We're gonna not have forgot our bitters, and we're gonna do 3 dashes of the Orinoco bitters. Available on Amazon, link below. 1/4 of an ounce of creme de port, which is pear liqueur. 1/4 of an ounce of creme de cacao blanc. 1/4 of an ounce of our allspice dram. And then 2 ounces of our bourbon. We're using 100 proof. And full disclosure, the Dead Rabbit uses Old Forester 100. but I don't have it, so I'm using the old granddad 100 proof bonded. We're gonna be using a punch glass. So you want like an 8-ounce punch glass. And we're gonna put one single rock of ice in it, like that. Then we're gonna add the rest of ice to our tin, add our cocktail, give it a nice shake. We're gonna give this a nice double strain over our rock into our punch glass, and then just grate a little nutmeg on top, like so. And there is the Dead Rabbit's reconstruction of a lion's tail. So now we're at the moment of the truth. Let's taste these guys side by side and see how they compare. So obviously the first one that we're gonna taste is the original specs for the lion's tail and the most simple kind of representation of the specs. I mean, so it's good. The thing about this is that you have a very little bit of sugar, and that's that 1-to-1 simple, sort of trying to balance everything out, and then you have just the allspice dram dominating the flavor profile, really knocking the whiskey out. And that's kind of the problem with this drink, is that you don't really get a ton from the whiskey, right? So the balance is kind of off. You just like all about the allspice dram and then the tartness of the lime juice. Now moving on to this Reconstruction, where we took the same ingredients in different proportions, and then we also upped the simple syrup to rich simple 2-to-1 ratio. This one's really good and far more balanced. It's also a lot sweeter. You know, that sugar really comes through. You still do get the tartness of the lime juice, and you still get that nice big kick from the allspice dram. It's just really, again, all about the allspice dram. It's just so much allspice dram that it's just kind of knocking that bourbon out. It's not bad though. It is really good. I mean, both of these I would, if they were handed to me, I would drink them and be happy with them. It's just that they're not the most balanced sort of representation of the drink. This one's a little bit more balanced though, and I kind of like the addition of sugar in this one as well. So then just moving on to our third one. This is the Dead Rabbit one. They really went off the deep end, restructuring the entire cocktail from the ground up, adding orange juice, creme de cacao, adding, you know, pulling down on the allspice dram a little bit. This doesn't actually have sugar in it in the form of simple syrup. It's really getting its sugar from the liqueurs that are put in here. And then it also has that nice pear liqueur as well. Let's taste it and see how this goes. Oh, and lemon juice as opposed to lime, which is gonna cut down on the acidity, I think, a little bit. So this is a really nice balanced drink. It's nice and tart. You do get a lot of the bourbon, even though you have those really strong flavors like creme de cacao, which I'm getting, and then also the allspice dram, and then also the orange juice kind of plays in there. It still all kind of supports that bourbon. Using 100 proof bourbon really helps here because it really kind of knocks up the flavor profile, and this is nicely reconstructed. So I guess the question here is this actually a lion's tail anymore? It has been completely restructured. Does it actually fit the bill as something that you can even call a lion's tail? It is very, very different from the other ones. And you know, I gotta say that in for my own humble opinion, I would say that yes, I think that you could consider it a lion's tail, although I would say, obviously, someone who reconstructs something like this would have to say it is their own version of a lion's tail. The reason why I think it remains consistent is because it keeps the idea of the cocktail intact. Right? The intent of the cocktail is still here. It's just using different elements to sort of bring out the best parts of the whiskey and the best parts of the cocktail, and I think upgrading it a bit. So there it is, guys. The evolution of the lion's tail cocktail. If you like this channel, please hit like and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon and YouTube memberships. We got some cool stuff going on there, and I'm gonna force Marius to make more content that only goes to those places, and we'll take it a little bit more seriously now that we have this nice set. We're not as busy, we're not as restricted in our shooting times. It's gonna be awesome. Check out our apron sponsor, Stagger League Goods, and put in Barfly SLG20 at checkout if you wanna get, and not only that, but also, big news, we're coming out with a custom apron, a Barfly apron, and it's gonna be available to you guys. And then check out our website, theeducatedbarfly.com, for merch, virtual bottles. We're starting to put articles up on there.